Hey, good morning, personal finance students. Welcome to week 8 of our course. This is a week that I'm excited about, and I wanted to kind of walk through the assignment and have you begin to see how these assignments are tying together with one another and how they work with each other if you allow them to make that really effective. So this week is about investment objectives, and if you'll listen to the video in which we talk about what that means and how you need to have the correct objectives to be effective in your investing. Once you have determined kind of your goals, so that's why I have on the screen right now, I have the goal sheet from our first lesson. So if you go back to week 2, the financial goals that you set, this is what you would take. You would take these goals and you would just transpose them into week 8's goals, or goal or target date. Now this is where, now that you've got a little more experience, where you might want to change the goals, and you should you should do that. Change your goals, maybe add to them, make them more specific, make them a little bit more unique to you in terms of what you think that you're going to need, so forth and so on. So what I did is I went ahead and I put together an example of what that could look like. So let's say that your goals here were listed, and I went ahead and I put these goals in chronological order, meaning when would I complete these goals, and that's when I put 2019 be the first one, emergency savings, house payment 2023, so forth and so on. And you can see that these goals that I set are, again, assuming that I'm around 22, assuming that my first child is going to go out on a mission about 2035, which means they were born this year or about this year. So you'd want to adjust all this. And then I put in, some costs there, 15,000, assuming that it's going to go up from what it is today, which is today it's about 10,000 to have a missionary. Anyhow, so you can see the goals. So then what I did is you should go ahead and you should transpose those goals into this sheet. So you can see my goals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. First thing I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to remove, if I can, I'm going to remove the example to make sure it's clean. And then I went ahead and I listed those goals. Now, again, I'll just walk through this on the first one, but because my emergency savings is a goal that I don't really want to take a lot of risk on, because it's something that I need to have there in case of emergencies, I'm going to call this one a capital preservation goal for that. Now, my house down payment, well, it's also one I don't really want to take a lot of risk on. Look at the horizon. I need it in about 6 years. And so, again, I'm going to choose capital preservation because I don't want to take a lot of risk on it. How about this one? Let me move over to it so you can see it. This is a return to the mission field with my spouse trip, right, in 2030, something that I would love to do. I still haven't done that, but I would love to be able to do that. So the first thing you want to do is you want to wrap the text because you want it to look professional. So up here in Excel, wrap text. And then we'll want to actually drag this down a little bit to make sure it's big enough so we can see it all. Perfect. And this is in 2030. So again, my horizon's about 13 years, so I could do growth, but I'd have to adjust it as it gets closer. But I don't really want to take that much risk because I really want to go back to Australia, so I'm going to say it's income. I'll take a little bit of risk, but not as much risk. So here's my first child, the mission in 2035. So I've got 18 years before I have to worry about that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make that a growth objective because I can not save as much and take a little more risk and have that money. Again, I'm going to go growth objective here. And then for college, I'm going to go growth objective, growth objective. Now, obviously, there's an assumption here that as you get closer and closer to that event, you would come off of growth into income, and then right as the child is on the mission or getting ready to go to the mission, you would move it into capital preservation because, again, you wouldn't want to miss out on that money that you worked so hard on saving. So that's kind of a walk through that. Over here, you can see the target dollar amount that I put into the investments. But before I do that, I wanted to also add one additional. So if I want to add, what I would do is I would create an add button, and then I would hit um, the appropriate number. So then to format, to make it look really good, I would highlight and merge these texts. I would merge these texts because I want it to look the same. I would do the same here. And then I would do the same here. Now I've got a line that looks exactly like the ones above. And my final goal is retirement. Whoops, put it in the wrong category. Is right here, retirement. And I'm going to say that's going to be in 2052. So I've got a long time for this, and so I'm going to say it's a growth objective. And then I need 2.1 million for that. So there it is. Now this right here, the percent of the total is what you do is you take the sum of all of your goals, which the sum of this is, and you don't see it on the bottom of the Excel spreadsheet, not on the recorded screen, is 2.2 million. So then you take this number, 3,500, over the 2.285 million, and you're going to get a percent. It's going to be a small percent, but it's going to say, look, this is the percent of your total invested that you need to work for. So that kind of breaks that up. Now, let me also just kind of tie in some things. So again, as we go back to the retirement at 2.1 million, here's where you can really begin to really start planning in order to make that goal of 2.1 million. I'll pull up this sheet, the calculation sheet that we used earlier this week in the discussion board, or earlier a few weeks ago in the discussion board. So we know that under the assumptions that we talked about in the discussion board at a 6% contribution and a 7% rate of return at a $40,000 salary and also the 1% profit sharing, that it grows to $1.9 million, which is great. However, you need 2.1 million. So you're going to have to increase the contribution amount, or you're going to have to say, look, I'm going to make more money. Well, let's just do this. Let's just increase the contribution rate to 7%, and you can see, okay, you made it. So what it tells you then is that right out of the gate, as you begin your financial plan, you should be saving 7%. Again, assuming that the company will match 6, you need to adjust that if the match is less, and you can make your goal over the 40 years. But again, you have to start now in your 20s, right as you get out of college. Well, I hope that this is helpful in kind of tying things back together in your financial plan and ensuring that those tie-ins continue. I will continue to post some additional videos that reflect that tie-in as well. And as always, feel free to call me or text me or email me with any questions you might have. Thanks, students. Take care.